All right, next up, Ethereum here. You guys saw that. I'm trying to get Ethereum to the dollar end of Bitcoin. So Ethereum getting a little kick in the pants from some bullish news here about potentially some futures contracts being added. If it doesn't happen now, I'm fairly certain it's going to happen sometime in the near term. So this little reaction here, I have to tell you, of all the counts here that I've considered to be on the more bullish side here, I felt this was the one that was the most likely to be invalidated because the structure is just a bit unusual. Yet despite that, it's been remarkably technical. So this could be interpreted a couple of different ways. But what a bull is looking for here is that we've got sort of an oddly shaped diagonal going in. So there's the 3, we've just done the 4, and we're trying to get the 5. Now we're going to get it. Where are we going to get it? A bit of a stretch here. All right, so the 1, the A, B, I felt like this was the least likely, yet here we are. So now there's a few things to note here. So we've broken through this channel here clearly, so we can get that one off. So I've got what do I have here? I have, this is a modified shifts, which is itself a channel. So there's a few things to note here. So one, so you look here and you go, oh, okay, what are these lines? Well, here I'm just wicking off the lows here. And note this has been, we've tagged it once and seen it. Note here, look at this little low volume node right here. So the market is tagged it 1, 2, 3. We're going to get through it this time. Well, we've got the ingredients. Now, no, so a couple of things here. Additionally, again, look. So first question always, why does it stop there? Oh, here's the golden zone we're running into from this last. If I tighten that, we get this last pivot here. So coincidence? Yeah, I'll let you draw your own conclusions as to that. I would tell you it's not. Now, additionally, here, look at this. So if I pull from the last pivot here up to this high that we got here, what do we get here? Another golden zone. So we are just sitting between two golden zones, right? It's nothing we don't see all the time. Just a big fat fib fight. Two algos fighting it out. Now, who's going to win this? Well, at this point, we're not through it yet. So to get there, so this algorithm, to get to its target up here, got to break through that one. Now, you got to go back more pivots, but this is what's in play right now. Look at the reaction at the 50, 50. Now it gets through. Now we get to golden zone. Now they play defense. Right, so that will have, that algo has a target way down here at, what is that, $41? That going to get hit? Well, sure. It's always a possibility here. Now, can we get beyond this? Well, this would be interesting because we'd have this golden zone going right to target, getting through that 65. That would be significant. That would, if we can get to the median line, that would give us a little more confidence here in this as a leading diagonal to give us a one wave off of the low down here at $82. I'm a little surprised to see this, but there it is. Right? So now we're not there yet, right? So look here, we bump into this and we start to back off a little bit. Now, do we have any help down below? You see volume is drying up a touch. Let me open this up here and bring this down. Right? So we're not seeing the volume you'd want to. Ideally, you'd look for a little more volume here behind that. So look at this dramatic difference here from when we pumped here to where we are now. So all of this, just divergence everywhere. RSI is getting hot. So can we get through that? Well, so I know the idea is always, is there a trade there? Well, so if this is 3 and we've got this nice ABC right into the golden here. Well, so breaking into that subdivision, let's go. We go to the hourly here and look at this. So this, no surprise, is technical as well. So on the assumption that we're going to finish this as a diagonal, well, what do we have here? So it looks like I've got an A, B. So already, remember, in a diagonal, we're looking for an A, a B, and a C to get to finish this. So it looks like I can go A, B, C into my A here, A, B, C, and then I think this is a couple of very technical pivots here, right? So here's, let's see. Let me take this off here so you can see it. Okay, and then we'll get this off so you can see just a little bit better. Okay, so here, All right, so here's the 50, goes to target, little reaction, second, already got third target. Okay, so we just keep going here. So I pull all the way up to this. Now, is that a front run? It's hard to call this, right? But note what we have here. Do you see that? So we look, guys, I promise you this is not happening randomly. Okay, do you see this? Okay, so here's a tag of the 618, tag of the target, right? It's literally tick to tick, right? So boom, boom. So where do we hit that target? Right in front of the golden zone. So is that all we're going to get out of this? Well, we don't know that. All right, but now as we look down here, well, we're going to, you shorten the time frame here. Some of this doesn't look as bad, but recognize you don't want to create, you don't want to go, oh, well, maybe if I bring this down to a 30-minute, this is even going to look better. Careful of that, right? So just recognize, pick what you're good. If this is the time frame, if you're going to trade off of the 60-minute, stay on the 60-minute. It's tempting to do. I've done it myself. You go, I don't really like the way that looks on the 4-hour. Let me go down to the 30-minute and let me see if that divergence looks a little bit better. It's usually that's a mistake. Now, not that it doesn't make sense to come down to these lower time frames and look for that wave subdivision here, and that you can glean some information out of that. Just be careful of that tendency that we want to see. If we're a bull, we want to see bullish representation in the indicators. So it's easy to keep fudging with it. And see how it looks on the 30. Oh, well, look, the volume looks much better there. Just be careful of that. Just pick one time frame and let that be what you make your trading decisions off of. So if it's going to be the 60, stay on the 60. Now, of course, we're going to have, with this kind of technical precision here, we're going to have another set of median lines. Oh, shit, there's a couple of different ways you could draw this. So this, we're already to and through. Looks like we're going after the upper target here, but, I'll draw them. This might be kind of interesting here. I'll draw them in all sorts of unusual ways, looking for something. Can I get some advantage here? So that's kind of interesting. We're going to get up. Now, if this is going to go right through and we're going to get after second target, that would put us up here at the upper parallel, and then we'd have this, the third target here. So, I will keep kind of fussing with them to see if I can get anything where I go, oh, clearly something's being used there. This is not quite... This is a little narrow in the time frame, which is why I go back to something a little less conventional. Even here, working off of this pivot, I would check this to this. All right, so we're going to get there. Well, maybe. I mean, it looks pretty good. So what do you do here? Well, of course, I can't recommend buying after just hitting an algo target. What are we, $2 in front of the golden zone. See, could you buy it there? Yeah. Would I? Hell no. Right. So I would encourage you to wait here. So if this is going to finish as a diagonal, well, now what are we looking for? So if this is our pivot, well, let's go all the way back here. See, where are we going to go? This parallel could be some nice support for us here. You got to tighten that up a little bit on those pivots. Looks like I'm slightly off there. So look here. So if we're going to go from this, we're going to get up to this target, right? That median line could be in play. It's hard to say, but right now you wouldn't want to be a buyer right into that golden zone. So if you're not in already, it's a bit of hurry up and wait. So if I look here off of this, having just tagged, let's see, I got to go back one. Having just tagged here, golden zone to its target, I want to see what the reaction is here. How far are we backing off? So if we're going to get a little retrace here, what would that imply? If we're going to get a little three wave, something like this, then we go up again. It doesn't look like you'd be finished here. So I wouldn't. So if that's A, B, so there's not enough there to be finished. Well, shit, I mean, anything's possible, but it doesn't look like there's enough in it. So if I take the length of the A, project from the proposed B. Well, if we're going to get through the golden zone, look where the 100 is and the 1272. Those would be common fib relationships you'd look for in an ABC trying to finish a diagonal here. So here's our 3 high, so bringing all this down. Can we get up and get to that? Now that would give it the right kind of symmetry. so let's see if I can back up here. So there's our last B, 3, 4. So the ABC was, this was solid. If I'm not mistaken, that was also, yep, right to the tick. Well, pardon me, I take that back. So we break here. So the B, we know a B can go 50 to 786. You'd like to see it cleaner and stay with the 618, but look at the target. You know, how do you explain it, right? So is it happening? Something's happening on a larger degree or a lower degree, but that is just out of curiosity here. See if it's something else at play here. That length of the A projected from the B. So look at that confluence here. So 100, right? So potentially that's just a front run. Here's your one pivot, right? Where we had that very slight. Is that the one where we had the very slight overlap? Yeah. So here's the pivot of the 1. So we get that slight overlap. For the 4, well, here's this one here. So actually it doesn't matter here. But interesting, right? The structure holds it. So we get right into that tiny little pocket. Look at that confluence there. Coincidental? Yeah. Coincidental? Coincidental? How many coincidences? Coincidental? Right? How many times? Is it just, oh, so surprising that it just randomly stopped at the 618 or at the golden zone or hit the target? Right, guys, nothing happens in here randomly. Nothing. So there's not really much to do here if you're not in it here. You're going to have to wait and see. If you're not already long, well, you can't buy it. So you've got to wait for the next retrace to get yourself a decent risk reward with some targets that would be meaningful. So up here, this would be ideal. We get a little more distance from the 3 as for the 1. So from this golden zone here, that would put us at third target. So this would give it good symmetry here if we can get up here. So then if we pull back out, let's see, let's go to the 2 hours, see how that looks. May not be enough. There we go. So that would put us up here. So now let's put that in context from that pivot. That would have us breaking. We got to go back one. How we look here. Now we'd be in between with some, there's the 1618 right here, if we're going to get even more out of it. So you'd also, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'd be looking, I know that's getting really hard to see. So I'd be pulling from this low through the 3 swing. So we hit the 38. Look at that, Jesus Christ. Look at all that confluence there. There's the 38 to the tick. So that algo target is right here, right? If you can see it, right? So you can always look to the left. You see all of these line up to the left. There's that algo target right there. That would give us, and we'd be closer to that 1618 in the secondary golden zone. So if we're going to get up to all of that, and of course, shit, I know. Let me get this back on here. Well, that's probably too far, so you'd have to draw from this. That much shit, you never know, right? Where we're going. Look at the larger. Up here, there's third target. Is that likely to happen? No, that's not likely to happen. But I wouldn't, at some point, I'd be referring back to this set of median lines. If we're getting up toward, 290, 300, I'd want to see where I'd check back here. Right? They have an unbelievable way of coming back into play in the market. So there, of course, you can't see that. I understand. All right, so, but hopefully you got through enough of that. Here you saw what I was doing. And the idea is not necessarily just to copy mine. I want you to see conceptually what I just did there, and then I want you to try and recreate it on your own. Right? That's how you learn how to do it. Right? Not just following mine exactly. You should be, I didn't do anything difficult there, just swings, just dominant swings, right? What's the wave count? What's the simplest count I could possibly apply to this what I'm seeing in the market here? And then looking at those swings, how's the symmetry? How's the wave relationship? Where are the algos? What'd they do last? That's the idea. But no trade here now. We got to wait. All right, guys, back to, I'm trying, oh, shit, wait a second. I was going to try and do, let's force a habit here. I was going to try and show you this as well. So here's Ethereum to Bitcoin. So same, right? We look at the move off of the news today. Now, look at that. All right, so there you go. So here's a corner pocket. It's not golden. So we come to the 50. Look at 1, 2, 3 to the tick, and then look at the reaction. All right, so in addition, right, we have the algo pull hitting that target. So looking there, you look and you say, okay, so we've got that established. So we know why it goes down. A nice subdivision here. I'll get an impulse to finish that 5. So it's a fairly big ABC if that's how that's going to play. Right, just unbelievable. Just It's amazing to me how few people use median lines. Okay, so we had, well, if this is going to play as a 1 in an ABC, well, there's a lot, you know, it's hard to get your head around how that's going to happen, right? So is Ethereum going to be that much stronger than Bitcoin? Not sure. It's hard to understand how that's going to happen if you're just trying to think it through. But that's the first mistake, trying to outthink the market. How is Ethereum going to get up to that kind of a target? Some of these upper targets here, given the strength of Bitcoin. Well, I'm not sure I have an answer for that, but the mistake is trying to outsmart the market. Oh, well, there's no way that's going to happen, right? You have to trade what you see. What happened here? We have a perfect correction here, finishing with a diagonal at an algo target at a set of median lines. Well, so that's a 4-hour. So if you're looking for a new trade here, okay, well, you got just a straight rip up. So I would avoid going too much below the 60-minute because you're just going to get caught in the chop. It's just, is that 1, 2? Maybe. I think you're better to wait a little bit. Yeah, you can see there's the potential for a little 1, 2 there. If I zoom in on that, 1, 2, 3, 4, ripper in the 5. You know, I don't like to try and force a count on something like that. Essentially, we've got news, we've got this big pump here. Now, those are 1-hour bars, so it's sustaining, at least at this point. But we want to wait. You want to wait. So do we have a pivot here? Well, shit. I mean, look what we've done here, right? So is it just prior resistance kicking in? Is it related to this pivot right here? I mean, you always look left. You're looking for areas where you might bump into that kind of structural resistance. So I'd want to see whatever this is. I'd want to see something come back down here. So again, we don't know that that's our pivot, but if I'm just pulling up to this low, and I'm looking for the buy side here, you know, give me the sweet spot. We can look here. So might be. You get this little confluence zone here where we have prior support, resistance. Can it be support again? Well, we're sitting right there at the 50, so likely there'll be software there to take the buy side with it. Do we have, just pulling from the last thing I can see that might be a contender here if I get right on that. So there's the 50 from this pivot. Looks like I'm a little off there on that one. Right. Oh, shit, come here. Get right on it. Okay, there we go. So here's the first 50 that we're running into. This is secondary. Here's your dominant. Right, so we're at the 38. So if we can get something like this, we can come back down a little bit and give us a 2, because the idea would be looking for a 2, even though, yeah, I know the temptation is to go 1, 2, call it a completed 5, but I wouldn't do that just yet. I would rather see this come down. So swing low, swing high, give me the 50. That's what I would wait for, knowing full well, right? Knowing that it could be that we come down here, we get something a little smaller, and then we go up and we get more subdivision here, so we can see it clearly. We know we've got that this was some sort of a 3, and we get a little 4. It could be a triangle, it could be a lot of different things here. So we get a little 4 down here, then we go up. Well, that's not the end of the world, right? So now you have more confidence that you've got a clean impulse off of that low. So now just the only difference is this moves up. And I'll wait for the retrace to come down here, get into the sweet spot, and then we'll look for that, right? So there'd be first target. If we're going to get a 3, there's third target. And then you kind of wait and you construct the trade as it becomes available, right? And then we look here and we go, oh, is it going to get that? 1, 2, looking for the 3. Interesting, right? It's hard to imagine exactly how that's going to happen. Right? Bitcoin, Ethereum getting that much momentum against Bitcoin. Yeah, there it lays out. I mean, so what I'm suggesting is don't talk yourself out of that trade because it doesn't make sense. Take the trade, put the stop on it, let it rip. All right? If you outthink it, if you try to outthink the market, I'll tell you that's usually a mistake. All right, guys, there you go. So we'll wait on that one. All right, see you later.